The judge has now spoken and revealed some key details in a potential Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni trial. Could it be televised? When will it start? Also, is there a massive smoking gun that's just been revealed in that New York Times piece? We got to discuss. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. Thanks to everybody who's been watching our coverage of this story. There is a massive update that many of you guys have been sending over, and I wanted to take some time to actually vet it myself, and it turns out it's true. We're going to get there in a second. I don't want you to miss that, but first, I want to talk about these new details that have been revealed. Now the judge has responded and declared that the trial could start in March of 2026. Here's the letter from Louis Lyman, the judge, Judge Lyman. His brother, I guess, is Doug Lyman, famous director, did a bunch of movies, Born Identity and Mr. and Mrs. Smith. He's a big time director. Anyway, he also directed a spot with Blake Lively, like a Barack Obama commercial. I don't think it's going to cause any concern, but I'm sure some folks will attempt to make it one. But anyway, he's now saying this initial pretrial conference scheduled for February 12th is rescheduled to February 3rd. So he's moving it up to hear it all out. So February 3rd is now the date. We'll learn, is there a gag order in place? Will they attempt to shut up Justin Baldoni? We'll probably get a lot of detail from that February 3rd trial at 11 a.m. So stay tuned, please. Keep in tuned for us. We will make sure to cover that the best of our abilities. The parties shall be prepared to address the letter motion regarding pretrial publicity, attorney conduct at the initial pretrial conference, pending responses to the order. Blah, blah, blah. The court plans to consolidate this matter with Wayfair Studios versus Lively and set both matters for a trial on March 9th, 2026 by 9:30 a.m. Thursday, January 30th, the parties shall submit case management plan with deadlines, which should enable a trial to occur on that date so ordered. Interesting. The court also granted the extension for times from Wayfair to respond to the complaint. As you'll recall, as we reported previously, Blake Lively's team basically didn't want them to have that delay, even though they lost the Los Angeles wildfires on Mr. Friedman and his law office, is what it says here. So the fact that he lost his home, which we heard about, and now his office, they needed more time, and now the judge thankfully agreed. The judge had more of a heart than Blake Lively or her team. It's shocking they didn't just say, of course, yes, give them a little bit more time. We don't stop this. But this has become a vindictive game, a very aggressive game, and that's part. Sadly, I wish we could say, yeah, this is going to be televised, but it's not. It's not going to be televised because it's in New York. This is a lawyer, Gregory Dahl, who's not involved, did speak up and answer some of the questions here to people. And because of this New York file, just like it is in the Diddy case, sadly, not likely televised. Since their legal battle is unfolding in the Southern District of New York, a federal court, filing in federal court, they foreclosed the possibility that there will be any cameras in the proceedings. Strict rules prohibiting recording devices. Yeah, as we've learned from the Diddy trial, it's incredibly hard to get this actually seen. I don't get it. I don't know why that's allowed. All courtrooms should be televised, in my opinion, especially matters like this. This is wild to me. We won't be able to watch it, but we'll still be able to watch all the transcripts. In fact, they asked for a stenographer. Justin's team wants a stenographer there to ensure that they can get everything listed. Was one thing we noticed as I'm going through all these sort of updates for you, but really there's not much else to report regarding these updates. What I want to do instead, spend a little bit more time looking into, is this theory that was presented on a TikTok here. It's been shared to me by many other people, but as we sort of say here, this was from a user, Gujipu. There we go, Gujipu. Saw this text. This is great research. I don't suppose anyone has checked the metadata of the images in the New York Times article. And sure enough, she went and she did. Now, what does that mean? Blake Lively's team has basically tried to say that it was Justin's team that actually leaked it to the press. We didn't just leak it to the New York Times. It was in TMZ first. And here's that article, December 31st. It was updated, but it was published on December 21st, 4:54 a.m. Pacific time. This is the first time sort of it was put out there. And then the New York Times came out later that morning. And so they're kind of saying, well, Justin's team clearly got word of it and pushed it first before we did. This inclination that they didn't feed the New York Times is laughable. And it just shows how sneaky and slimy Blake Lively is doing and being. She's a massive hypocrite, and her team is. And so this article was clearly worked on for a long time, but now they're trying to say, well, you can't prove that because this was posted after other outlets did it. But as we show in the TikToker, sure enough, if you go and right click on these images, you check all these images, and here's that image. And sadly, wait, let me lower this so you can actually see this metadata. Give me a second. I thought I had it. I usually hide this from you guys because I don't want you to see all the addresses, but there it is. I want you to see the address because this is key here. Right here it says static NewYorkTimes.com news graphics 2024 12/16. Lively topper. So on the 16th, mind you, this was published on the 21st, which is even when they allege TMZ had it first, December 21st. By looking at the metadata of when these images were created by the New York Times, dummies out there, if they were trying to cover this up, labeled them by the date. So this proves they were working on the graphics for this article 5 days prior for the Lively topper. But it gets even worse as you look through and you look at these dates as they go. We scroll through. Let's find another image. Here we go. Let's look at this one. Open this one up. Here it is. 12/18. So this was a couple days after that. 12/18. They're still gathering images. And if you look at it, Smear Baldoni, TQMZ, Smear Baldoni, TQMZ, jumbo quality. So even their header not only has the date revealed, but has the topic of this article, which is a smear campaign. You could argue, well, Andy, maybe they were tipped off that a lawsuit could be coming. Maybe they were prepping sort of stuff on hand just in case. Okay. But then how'd you know it was all going to be about a smear campaign? Clearly someone tipped you off. And so now we're supposed to assume Justin did that first. Blake's the one who knows its existence and filed it. It's hers to leak first. If anybody else had it before it was publicly released, which you could argue then Justin got it publicly and shared. Well, she clearly gave it to them first and told them it was going to be a smear article. As you scroll down here and look at all the images that they have in this piece, again, open up. Let's look at this metadata. 12/20, day before, multimedia smear, print, 12/20 smear Heath. So literally, they're just smearing everybody themselves. Here's a photo of all these Lily Bloom, the Lily Bloom team. And here it is. Previewed. Smear preview. As we go through every picture on here. This is, I guess, Melissa Nathan's photo. Smear Nathan. We go through, and this is Jennifer Abel. Open in. Smear Abel. You get a sense. And you look at these dates. Again, this was 12/21. This was on the day. So on this point, they did get, on the day itself, they added some more images of them. And then you scroll down, keep going. Now, these sadly are HTML files. I asked, as I was doing my homework, they put this in HTML. So as they were writing the article, they were coding this. So the idea that they were able to quickly code and post these messages in this just article, it's not like they just posted text and photos. They went in and actually HTML coded for text message looks that are part of the article. This is text. This isn't a picture. And I guess they did that because they didn't want to have metadata or understand, well, where'd these pictures come from? Where did all this come from? They somehow got a way to transcribe them and then HTML code them to the website. So this idea that they didn't have this early is laughable. Again, HTML coded text that someone had to take some time to develop, prep, cherry pick, etc. More text, as you see. Messages have been edited for length. So who edited them for length? Who edited them for length? New York Times or Blake's team? And why would you edit such important points out? This is a very revealing thing. Messages have been edited for length, taking away a lot of context. Here we go, the picture of Kirsty. Let's look at her. This was on 12/21. So some of these details they did add on the day, it seems, or the morning of. As we scroll down, more text, you get the gist. But as we show at these first few images, especially, this one. This proves the lively topper, the lively story, the smear story was in prep as active as minimum of December 16th, a whole 5 days before it was posted. So this idea that Blake Lively and her team are out there trying to say is, Justin's put it out first. We didn't. Other media outlets had it. nice try, girl. You definitely gave this to New York Times. We already knew that, but to see definitive proof of this is pretty damning. Is this, the proof all? No, there's still a lot to prove, but they're going to have some explaining to do. And as they keep trying to silence Justin and shut him up, and with these gag orders, it's hard to deny, guys, you started all this. You did. You absolutely did. And they placed a gag order at the same time of doing this, assuming we're going to put all this stuff out of nowhere. Justin and his lawyer, if they respond, they're breaking a gag order. Nonsense. When they decided to put these text messages in this piece, they lost the ability to not then have Justin respond. If she really wanted to be serious about this, she didn't have to include any of this. But she made this a PR suit, and in doing so now legally, they absolutely have every right to respond, which is what they've been doing. Shame on her for doing that. And anyway, all that said, will we actually see this trial in March of next year? Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. At a certain point, I do think cooler heads will prevail. 92% of all civil cases settle. Odds are overwhelming that the case will eventually settle, says that lawyer in this article. Depp versus Heard is one of those rare exceptions. There's a chance enough motion on both sides and enough concern by the parties will actually publicly litigate their grievances. So maybe there's still a possibility. What do you think? Do you think they're going to actually take this all the way? Let me know in the comments, and make sure you join us. We're going to be live in about an hour and a half or so. So make sure you join us here on the channel. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for all alerts, and smash that like button. We're so close to 900,000 subscribers. Our way to 1 million is happening. You're helping us get there. Please stay tuned. Subscribe to the Patreon. Click the logo to the left and stay tuned. We got a lot more coming. We'll see you live in a little bit.